Okay, you guys should be good to go.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and it should bounce up when we, when she pops in, so. Afternoon, everybody. We do have quorum for the Lincoln County Fair Board. So we will call the meeting to order at 3:32. Roll call is myself, Mr. Butterfield, Mr. Williver. And then Colleen should be coming in. We have Heather's here. Kristen's here, Tim's here, Kathleen's here, and Ken. First order of business is to approve the minutes from last month. Did you get a chance to look at those?
I didn't.
So Todd Williver is with us.
Yeah, he's on the computer.
I'm here.
Thanks, Todd.
My video is shut off on your end, not my end. Not that I really care.
We don't want to see you today.
Oh, I was gonna say, what do you look like?
It's a tough group, Todd.
Yes.
I know.
Any changes that you see?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as typed.
I will second them. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes as written are approved. Update from Heather.
So I'll start kind of with the 4-H side of the house. We had our last kind of animal science meeting to go over placement of pens and how many animals we're gonna have and all of that fun stuff last night at the barn. I had my scale. I tried to have the scale certified today, but unfortunately, because it's been moved so many times, I think it's been damaged. And so I had to call the scale company to have that repaired before fair. So I would just request at this point that it does not get moved, period, until at least after fair, because it's going to be an expensive fix, I think. And then I have to have it recertified, and then he's gonna come in and do that after fair. But I don't know what's going on with it until I have the company come out and take a look at it. So it's currently in the livestock barn, but I was gonna ask the Fair Board or the county to maybe help pay for that bill when it comes in, because I don't think that the 4-H damaged it. I think it got damaged when it was moved. Sorry, I'm calling Colleen. And then I do have hey, can you hear us all?
Yeah, I can. I'll try not to yell at you.
Okay. And then I have a couple of groups that need use of the facility. The armory is going through renovations, and they typically use the armory. But because of the renovations, they got kicked out. So I have an archery day camp that we originally had slated for the armory. There's 2 weeks, one in July and one in August. So they would like permission to use the livestock barn for their archery camp. And then the dog group meets on a weekly basis. And again, they got removed from the armory temporarily until they mitigate. I think it's lead that they're working on this time, or asbestos. I can't remember which, but they are starting construction on the 26th. And they don't know. I've heard various different things that they should be back in operation in September. But in the meantime, they've displaced a couple of my groups. So we were hoping to be able to use the fairgrounds, at least the livestock barn, for those 2 groups in the interim. And then yeah, I will. I have them. And then we're pretty much ready to go for fair. The 4-H kids are really excited, and we're moving towards that. We have the schedule for the 4-H set. We come in Monday to get all of our static entries, which are the things that don't move, moved in. Tuesday's judging, and then Wednesday and Thursday we'll be setting up both the 4-H barn and the static exhibits on the fairgrounds. And then I see Todd has his hand up. Is it a 4-H, Todd?
I just wanted to circle back to the scale real quick. And just to add a little bit of institutional knowledge, the scale can't be picked up with a forklift. The pressure sensitive feet are underneath the scale. And if you grab it with a forklift, you damage those feet. That's why it comes with wheels. So you can jack it up and put the wheels on it and tow it like a trailer wherever it needs to go. Then take the wheels off so it sits on the pressure sensitive feet. So I've always tried to make it very clear that we do just set it up, leave it up, and then put it away for the winters. But I worry maybe that's what happened is somebody grabbed it with a forklift and potentially damaged one of those pressure sensitive feet. Heather will know more, I'm sure, when the scale repair comes. But anyway, it's about a $6,000 piece of equipment, and I'm not sure what the repair might come to, but just real important that people don't just kind of grab that thing and move it on a whim for a couple of reasons. One, if it's already been certified, that invalidates the certification for that year. And secondly, if they do it wrong, they potentially damage it. So
Yeah.
my 2 cents.
Yeah, Kristen just said that we should just put something on there that says don't move and then have my phone number so they can contact me if it needs to be moved. And I think part of it, they were renovating the barn and I understand that, but now I'm concerned that it's gonna be a really expensive fix. So I have a call in. I'll keep you guys posted once I get that fixed. I'm just gonna have him fix it. We'll figure out how to pay for it later. But I'm hoping that'll get taken care of before fair. We'll see. And he's not the gentleman that came was from the Oregon Department of Agriculture. He just certifies them. So he kind of gave me a couple ideas on what he thinks is wrong with it. But he can't suggest how to repair it. It's not his job basically. And so I do have a call in for maintenance on it.
Who would that fall under fair board funding or?
I mean, the association picks up the certification. We are the ones that keep that current.
Right, but on helping pay for the fix, would that? Or is that for a discussion another time?
Who damaged stuff?
Yeah, and I don't know the answer to that.
I would see, let's see what the report is and go from there. We have had just wiring come apart in the past, and we've picked up the cost on that. Obviously, wear and tear is 4-H's deal. If it turns out that it was damaged in the process of moving it, let's go from there. But I think at this point it's just too unclear to know what happened to it. Let's get a report first.
Yeah, because what it's doing, I guess I can tell you that, is when it has weight on it, it's reading 20 pounds under, and then it's not leveling out. So he wasn't sure if it was a wiring problem or if it's just not setting right. So I won't know. This is not my wheelhouse. I don't know much about it. I know how to get an animal in it. I know how to get an animal out of it. So we will have our final weigh-in at fair on Thursday. So I'm hoping it'll be fixed by then. If not, we'll go from there. I'll order I'll rent something if I have to. And then on the fair side of the house, I am completely sold out in the main hall. I'm still fielding calls almost every day for vendors. So I'm just placing them where I have them on the grounds outside if possible. But I am I cannot squeeze another vendor in there if I wanted to. I also have OMSI coming in, so they take up a good part of that footprint in the main hall, but it's a really good free attraction for families to do. And then we have senior fair that comes in on Friday. I have them outlined in there as well. The bounce house is coming back, the camels are coming back. I'm pretty much sold out in my food area too. Again, I don't think I could squeeze another food vendor in if I wanted to. Our OLCC license came back approved, so that's taken care of. A little note on that, I met with Carol, who is the owner of Oregon Beverage Services. We did a walkthrough of the grounds. Typically, we just license for a beer garden and then the rodeo grounds. He went ahead and licensed the entire fairgrounds with the exception of the 4-H buildings. So like the animal barn, I have to put signs, no alcohol beyond this point. And then where the static exhibits are, same thing. And then we just have to fence off between where the vendor is going to be and the bouncy houses. But it will be pretty much the entire fairgrounds licensed, which is, we'll see how it goes. It could be a good or a bad thing. But they are, they're fully staffing it. They are providing security as well as part of the contract. And then we have our normal overnight security, but they are providing additional security with the licensing. Steve's got the main stage pretty much set. The schedule's up online. We'll start moving in open class on Sunday, the 25th. That's the first day of intake, and then pretty much throughout the week, we have people coming in and out for open class intake. I do have Angel Job Course coming Tuesday to do all the pin setup and all of that Tuesday at 9 o'clock.
Heather, could we maybe get them in the open class building to set pipe and drape as well?
I don't know when pipe and drape's gonna drop at this point, Colleen. I'll email the gentleman that drops it and find out. If
Okay.
it's here on Tuesday and they have everything set, then yes. If not, then we have lots of bodies that can help tackle that.
Oh, I know, we've done it before. I just tried to plan ahead.
Yeah, I'll email the gentleman that does our pipe and drape. He's just gonna do what he's done in years past and literally just drop it and go.
Okay.
When I talked to him last, he did not have an ETA, but I can find out for sure what day he's gonna be there.
Perfect.
The rodeo grounds look great. Thank you, Todd. Todd and Kyle Black, one of my 4-H volunteers, have been doing some grooming in there. And Todd watered it. It's supposed to rain this weekend, so I think that'll be a little helpful to the rodeo grounds.
We'll find more rocks.
We'll find more rocks after it rains. I think that's all I have. If anybody has questions on my side of the house, I'm happy to answer them. Oh, all of the contracts, I'm still waiting on Hal, Jerry or Debbie to sign the Hal contract and get it back to me. I will call them and make sure that that's taken care
I
of.
have it.
Oh, you do have it
All
signed.
done, yeah.
Okay, so everything I know of is signed. Everything that needs to get paid out is to Jean to get paid out. One thing is that we are over the fiscal year yet again, meaning that checks will not be able to get cut until Monday the 3rd. So everything's gonna get mailed out versus us handling the checks at the fair like we normally do. The entertainment has already been notified of this. I just need to reach out to Hal. I hadn't seen their contract back, so that was part of the reason I didn't reach out. But I'll just shoot everybody else an email and let them know that checks will be mailed on the 3rd. And I told Colleen, so her judges are also aware.
The 4-H barn ribbon cutting. Do that about 10:30 on Friday.
So we have a livestock judge coming in. I was hoping we could do it right around 10 o'clock because the livestock judge I have contracted to come in at 10, and that's when our livestock show is supposed to start. So
We could do it at 9:30.
a majority of my youth will be tied up.
We could do it at 9:30 and then go from that to the opening ceremony of the fair at 10.
Well, we would hope that you would have the opening ceremony of the fair and then move to the fair in the 4-H barn.
That's kind of the way I sold it to my kids, so. That's,
Because really the only thing that I was gonna do for the opening ceremony was the exact same that we did last year, which is bring the flags in, national anthem. Somebody, either myself or Heather,
on Fair Board member.
Tim, one of the commissioners want to do a thank you for coming speech. And then that's it, it's done. Because the flags will come in, we'll play national anthem, the flags will leave. And then I say 1, maybe 2 speeches at most, and then roll right over to the ribbon cutting, which would be 10:15. Would that still be okay?
Yeah, we'll just market it at 10 and then people can wander that way. I just told my kids to look presentable, so they have to anyway, they have to be in their show clothes, so that's kind of how it works out for us as well.
That's 30th.
Yes, Friday the 30th.
Are we gonna do any speeches at the
Sorry.
ribbon cutting?
Be very short, but you'll have two legislators and Board of Commissioners, representatives from the state of Oregon who funded the activity.
Go ahead, Colleen.
No, when we get done with opening ceremony questions, then I can let me know and I'll interject.
Okay.
If you want to let me know who is speaking, then I can plug that in. Okay. That's all I had on that. Colleen?
Go ahead.
Just wanted to put it on everybody's calendar. Please make a point to swing through the open class exhibit area Thursday after 2:30. As we have fair board picks we need to do, as far as everybody being able to pick 2 items, 1 adult, 1 youth. Daniel, at the BOC meeting, could you please remind the commissioners, I need to see them Thursday afternoon as well? Same kind of deal.
Send Tim and I a email, would you please?
I'll send it again.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, did we arrive on a final time for the ribbon cutting?
We got 10:15.
10.
Okay.
But it's basically immediately after the opening ceremony. The opening ceremony at 10, and then everybody will just migrate over there.
Head to the north side of the barn. We'll get a nice ribbon and one of those oversized scissors on steroids. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, and I guess I can say too, because they're sitting right here. Our shirts are in. I have everybody's shirts. Daniel got his, Todd Butterfield has his, Todd Williver, I'll bring them to state contest this week for you. And then we have the staff ones, those are just be at the fair office to give out as designated by fair board members, or they can come see me. Colleen got badges and lanyards for everybody as well. That's kind of all I have on my call list. The fair tab's into the News Times. My checks are over to G. Like, I'm just checked off until Thursday when we get vendors moving in. So.
Heather, vendors are moving in Thursday. Are we having any coming in early?
At this point, not coming into vend. I have one person coming in early to camp, but
Okay.
that's it.
What day do we need to set up the big tent?
Oh, Todd Williver. What day did the big tents need to go up?
I think let me pull up my calendar. I think we've got plans to put those up Wednesday or Thursday, but I scheduled that as soon as I can find my calendar here. We currently have that scheduled for Thursday,
I think we.
which I think is just fine. There's not, other than Steve moving in, there's not that much going on there. We just always try to put them up at the 11th hour so that the wind doesn't catch them. We don't worry about damage.
And we're not gonna have as much fencing to have to work around this year either, so.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. I think we talked about doing it on either Wednesday or Thursday, and between me and Josh and everybody else, we just decided we could do it Thursday and make it work. So that's the master plan.
Do we know what day Mason's gonna start?
He'll be bringing stuff in probably starting Tuesday, but Thursday will be his big day. But most of what he does happens from the concrete apron to the band shell. And he just needs to roll out his big snake and put a plastic table under the tents when we get them up. So I don't think there'll be a conflict between us there.
Is there picnic tables on the stage?
They're moved
They're
off
Moved off.
because the grad night used them, and so they just need to be relocated to the food court area.
Yeah, they're on the stage and just need to be pulled and put on the, as Heather said, just on it over to the food court.
He can't.
You can't hear. Todd, they're not on the stage. They're in the grass. They use them for grad night. They just need
Oh,
to
so
be,
they've been pulled down?
yeah,
Okay,
Heather, do we know when the radios are landing?
Monday
Okay,
at my office. Cause the fairgrounds doesn't have.
no, I didn't want us to get going and then forget about them.
Yeah, Monday.
I will have probably, well, absolutely before Friday, but I will have a radio issue plan to Heather for her approval. Probably Wednesday. Of who's getting radios. Right now, it's gonna be immediately off the top management team getting the radios, so. The Todds, myself, Colleen, Heather, Brittany. And one in the either Patty or Connie in the exhibit hall will have a radio, and the EMT. And we're getting 10 radios, so I think that eats up the 10 radios, but I'm also I will have 6 radios for overflow. So if somebody else needs a radio or whatever. The 2 of the radios that I'm buying one will go to the front gate or to both gates that people are coming in. I found out this morning, Lakeview has 5 volunteers right now that are gonna help man the front gates. To 1, collect canned food. 2, we'll put out donation buckets, and then 3 to give a rough count of a better rough count of how many people come to the fair. They're working on filling Saturday and Sunday as well, but we know Friday's good. So their applications for background investigations should be coming through probably next week. What else? Seems like any other business, Tim?
Sure. What's the methodology or approach to collection of revenue at the end of the fair?
Oh, so we will have rodeo cash for Friday and Saturday evening. And then for my food vendors, I give them as they check in, they have a sheet that I give them for their percentages. And so we are going to put probably either myself or Colleen in the fair office and then just have them come to us. Because we used to go around to them, but I think we'll have them come to us at the fair office and then just collect the revenue and then have it ready to go by, I would say 7:30. Because 5 o'clock is when fair closes. They want to immediately break down. That's what their biggest concern is. And then they'll pull out probably about 7:38. But I will need somebody probably both Friday and Saturday to come pick rodeo revenue up.
So Heather, just so that I'm clear, we are having vendors, food vendors, bringing their percentage to us
Yeah,
each night. Is that the plan?
no, just Sunday.
Okay,
They have a sheet that breaks down each night and then they just have to fill that out and then bring us their revenue.
because if you wanted to, because last night is crazy, you could make my room the checkout room.
The only thing is the fair office is a little more secure.
It is, but that means you got to staff a body in it.
I have buddies, we'll figure it out.
Okay, okay.
I might want to sit down after all 3 days and just collect money.
Or gets big.
But we'll figure it out. But yeah, I want them to come to us, just so that it's a little easier, hopefully. And then I have posters, so if you guys are by the extension office, come get posters to hang up, please.
I'll take a motion.
Casey gonna be on site this year?
Casey's a commissioner.
Yeah, he might be there.
Not Casey, I'm sorry. The guy who did our posters, I can't think of his name.
Oh,
Say
Casey
hi.
McKinney. I don't know. I'll reach out to him, Colleen. Wrong Casey.
Hi, Casey.
I think, are we gonna work on the parking? Were you and I gonna work on that, or we table it for this year?
School district, told the fair board. Sorry, yeah, they can't use the middle school.
Because parking's always an issue.
Why can't they use?
So parking's always an issue. So we got the transit, they offered up a bus.
Okay.
If we can find a driver
Or drivers.
or drivers.
We can take care of that, but.
And then I reached out to the middle school, reached out to the high school to use the west campus parking lot at the high school and the parking lot at the middle school, and then that bus could just round about. The middle school is the only one that contacted me back, and they said they will not offer up the school parking lot because they have a baseball tournament and a symphony.
That we come.
That, except for the
No,
symphony
this
doesn't come in until,
Tuesday.
the symphony comes in on Tuesday, but the baseball tournament is that weekend. But parking is always an issue.
What about the county law? We can bus people from there.
What county?
This county.
As a little institutional knowledge again here, has Symphony contacted us and asked for parking this year
No, Todd, they're on Tuesday, so it doesn't,
on Tuesday? Okay.
we don't conflict, yeah.
For in years past, probably nearly every year of the last decade, Paul Brookhiser and the Symphony always come to us and ask for parking on the fairgrounds for the Symphony, and we always accommodate that. If they're bulking because of their things, it might be nice to point out how many times over the last decade we've accommodated their needs, just to be sure that we're rubbing each other's backs equally.
And I brought that up when I talked to Newport Middle School. When they said they have the symphony, and I was like, the symphony always comes to us to use our field for parking.
Well, and there is, it's, that's the non-issue. It's not
But-
like it's the baseball tournament this year,
That's that same.
is it? They don't do it at Betty Wheeler?
No, they do it at all the fields.
Oh.
Yeah, I think games at all the fields, probably their all-star tournament.
Mhm.
So we get, the biggest thing with the parking is if we can identify a couple of places.
You can use the West Saco, right?
I haven't heard from the high school.
Would you email,
I called them and left a voicemail,
like for the principal?
secretary.
I would just talk to the principal right now. If you want some.
I'll try and
Their
give,
email.
I'll try and give them a call tomorrow.
They're there until the end of the month, but. If you use the east lot and the west lot, you should. And there's parking and.
People's Park at all the.
Like along the track, you know what I mean? I just think you'd be fine. I think you would.
They just used the fairgrounds for a function here a couple days ago.
They had grad night last.
So it wasn't the high school. Grad night's like a separate group.
Yeah.
It's not
And
run by
then-
the high school.
And then bonfires or once a
The
year.
school district does the bonfire, but it's not that, so the baseball tournament is not associated with the school district, by the way. It's a separate nonprofit.
Right.
And they probably got permission, they just beat you guys and they got use of the. So it's not even associated with the school
So it
district.
sounds like to me, moving forward, is you need to nail down these dates. We're here to infinitum.
Yep,
If we're gonna keep it on the 4th of July.
because that's another thing that can go up on the website is where there's specific parking and that the shuttle is gonna
Yeah,
run. And it may be that it's
I think it's enough. Yeah.
too late of an issue.
Yeah, I think, because here's the deal, they can't stop us from parking on the street, so if you wanna do the map, you can put the parking as. And by the way, we could use Public Works too, we could use the road department parking lot,
They use it for 4-H camping.
no, like Public Works across from the middle school.
Oh, cross, sorry, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
I'm thinking the
So
wrong
you,
thing.
so you can do that. You can also use the public street along the middle school, that's public, so they can park along there. I think you'd be fine. I think there's enough street parking in that neighborhood that people are gonna wanna walk and be close.
And a lot of people will park at like the businesses are closed on Saturday and Sunday, so they'll park in that industrial area a little bit too.
I mean, you could even put up fair parking. Watch, that's good. But we could do it in the public works. Across from the middle school, we have a lot there,
And then just run the shuttle.
yeah, and just be taking people down that hill. If they don't wanna walk.
Well, it's more of the grandmas and grandpas that ride in with their kids.
You could have a little stop and a sign there, saying, you know, when it's running every 10 minutes or whatever.
Todd Williver, I have a question for you. Who's the custodian of the handicap signs? Is that Roy or is that road department? Where does that come from?
It's their sign fellow, God, and his name escapes me right now, but you can certainly go through Roy.
Okay, I just need to make sure we get those dropped over
Yeah.
at the grounds too.
Yeah, and I really liked, in the past, they've hooked them to those A-frames and they get really cumbersome. I really liked the way we just secured them to the fence last year with zip ties. It was a lot easier, a lot less stuff to move around.
Okay.
Think at this point, go around the room. Ma'am, you got anything?
I'll be at the fair.
Come to the fair, it's free.
Tim?
I'm anxious to see what happens on Friday and Saturday with the rodeo and the parking. This will be intriguing. So are you telling me though that you still want a bus and you need a driver? And does that driver need to be all day, or is it just a specified time during the day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
My goal was from like 10 to 9:30 or 9:30 to 9:30.
And I'll interject too. I think you could even run it as peak hours, which would be honestly like 3 o'clock in the afternoon until maybe 8 o'clock at night. I don't think you need to have someone run all day long.
It was an idea, so I'm not.
But
I'm
that's
open
just
to-
my opinion. We do have the senior lunch on Friday at noon. But really Friday is kind of quiet until most people get off work in the evenings. Saturday's by far our busiest day from open to close. It's packed from 10 o'clock until 9 o'clock.
Right.
And then Sunday, it's usually the after church crowd that it picks up.
And, you know, based on security, you know, not that we're gonna have a big issue, but only having people come in, patrons coming in off of Third Street through those two gates is gonna help control our security.
Well, and the majority of people do use those gates. I say that the one by the barn's open, but it's usually 4-H families coming in
Right.
and out and me coming in and out that gate. And then the rodeo gates just, there's someone there.
Well, let's think that through for a minute. You don't want to make people guess when you're doing this.
No,
So it's probably
just-
advantageous to probably look at like 10 in the morning until closing.
Now, I was thinking 30 minutes after closing to get, that'd basically be 2 runs to get people from the,
Well, yeah, depending upon the size of your bus, I wouldn't
Keep
put
running.
one of our large buses out there. We put one of our smaller.
You gotta mute yourself.
somebody probably just cut her off.
yeah.
It's gonna be a 20 or 25 pack bus is what,
No, I won't use that right now. I'm sorry. That's just too big. And we're not doing well with those right now. So I'd probably step it down and have maybe 2 smaller buses.
I can talk to a transit.
Yeah, well, it's under our authority, so they'll come back to me and say, what do you think, boss? I think it'd probably be easier to run two smaller ones.
Well, I don't know. I would ask them, I would just do one bus.
I don't think it would-
That's when I talked to,
We're not gonna be going out to narrow streets, Tim. so-
Yeah, I know, but I'm still not convinced yet.
I'm sure it's a driver who hasn't had accidents. in the past,
Yeah, that's.
Which would exclude.
because it was the smaller, she made it sound like it was the smaller
That
bus.
she was gonna let you, I think we just need one small bus.
Yeah, it was, that's why I say it was a 20 or
You're gonna be
25. I
doing-
can't-
It's not like it's just frequency, it doesn't take that long. It's like we're at two, but like a 1 minute ride down the hill.
Right,
We're
1
gonna
2-minute
come up
ride.
with Public Works, yeah.
So we'll do 10 to 10 and we'll look into this bus situation for you.
Okay, thank you.
Is that a new service this year?
We've never run anything.
It
like
would
that.
be a new service,
So we're not advertising that.
not
No,
yet.
that's kind of my concern is I don't know if people will use it because I don't know if people know about it. And I just literally sent everything over to the News Times for the Fair tab, which will go out in Friday's paper. Not this Friday, but next Friday. And so that's like my biggest advertising, and then we will have radio ads, but again, those have already been recorded.
The only advertisement that ultimately we get out there at this point is putting on the
And
website.
I don't,
That's why maybe this is something that we table for
Yeah,
next
I don't know
year.
if it's gonna get a lot of use, because I think most people are gonna park in the neighborhood. Or that, if grandma's not able to walk, they'll probably just drop her off.
they drop her off and then go
And then
park
they'll
and then
park.
come back.
It's just gonna be small.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good idea. I just don't know if it's gonna be
Need to-
feasible for this year.
Yeah. I'm good with tabling it for. Until started in like September, the planning on that piece.
Yeah,
The barriers, how about they move those back a ways?
Oh, the ones that are on Third and Harney?
And take some pavement paint, for underground utilities, just make parking.
are they blocking off the street again?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
block off,
Is that what
but they
it's-
do it right at the corner of Third and cutting Harney off. So the only way to go through, like if you want to go on down Harney,
Yeah,
is to go through the gas station. But the other side's not.
It's
So you
just
got to go
coned.
around the block.
It's coned.
Yeah,
It's not
but
barricaded, it's coned.
no, you can go through
Okay,
the fire or the gas station.
That's how.
Because
that's-
Yeah, the police department does it too.
well, who's gonna argue with that?
Right,
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, I,
Put it on your deployment program for next year.
yeah,
Like a flow of people, because it's just continuous, and I always have found parking when it comes. People are leaving as they're coming in.
yeah. And I really do encourage, I send emails out to vendors. I encourage them not to park in the high school. I encourage them to park on Harney or in the dry camping area. And they'll tell me, well, I'm handicapped, and then I tell them, well, you can
Well,
drive up to here and have someone move your car for you, but please don't park in the high school lot. So I really try to mitigate that on the vending side of it. It's beneficial for them not to park there, because obviously they're gonna have more traffic if there's more parking, so. Oh, I did have one thing that, the department, well, the housing authority came to me, and asked for storage. To use the fairgrounds for storage after fair for about a 6-week period. They have a grant,
Aaron's group,
Wait, who is this?
and I told him, I said, it has to be before the fair board. It's the housing authority. They have a grant. They have to spend money by
Well, it's not the fair board.
So it's
the county.
county. Okay, I'll have them
It's the
email you.
county function. Maybe.
I'll have them email you.
We're getting a lot of inquiries and, folks, we're trying to get into construction.
Yeah,
By outside groups prior to fair. Do we have that again this year? So that if those that are coming in on Saturday don't get,
No, there's nothing going on the week before fair.
perfect.
There's nothing going on between now and fair.
That we plan that you have the week before the fair and the week after the fair. So you got 3 weeks out of 52.
We're trying to get us. 6 weeks, that's long.
It is.
Yeah, and that's what I told them. I said, I know after the fair that we're gonna start working on some of these things, so I'll have them email you.
Housing authority doesn't have enough space.
What do they want to?
Washing and dry, they have a grant to purchase new equipment and they're in the process of closing on a building to put this equipment in. And it's like in the meantime kind of situation. Sounds like washers and dryers and furniture to furnish the building that they're purchasing.
I mean, we do have space, but. we use the washers and dryers.
We'll just pick everything up, right?
Yes, if people come in
Well, this is new building, you know, the old one's coming back in.
What else is on your mind, Tim?
We bought 4 digital road signboards.
We've just got 2 still, right?
We have, I don't know, have we gotten all 4 in yet?
Have received them? I don't know about receipt.
We need to find out. If they are, they might be advantageous to be deployed for you, regarding the fair.
That would be really nice because typically what we do is this week or next week, we put kind of a bigger sign out Highway 20. We put tiny little signs down in South Beach. And then we put a couple up at like Taco Bell that, they're tiny little signs.
When you say signs, are they just,
They look like the
Election-
political signs. They're about that size.
so you know the side, what I'm talking about regarding a digital road sign?
Yeah, that would be,
Reader board, basically.
It is.
That probably already in 20.
We've always put a larger banner at Harney and 20 just to try to direct that traffic
It's
right to the
usually,
fairgrounds on Harney. That's
That
the
usually blows
place
down.
to put, yeah, the place to put that digital sign.
It always usually blows down.
Yeah,
I would even say to 101 and 20 or somewhere on 101 to capture people that are on 101. Because we're not on that main stretch, and so
right.
people don't always go east and west, they're going north and south.
Those are one-sided.
They are.
I think 101 might be trickier with ODOT than that.
Yeah. I think so.
I know ODOT.
Okay.
My husband works for ODOT, so I can figure out how to work that out, but
Yeah, if we could get 1 or 2 of those, that would be.
We'll check into that.
So
That's
that's,
the thing that nobody's talked about here is when do the porta potties come in?
Todd Williver.
that, Rick usually starts bringing those in a week in advance. He starts moving them around from all over the county. I haven't confirmed with him his plan this year, but we've just been doing it so many years that I never really worry about it. He always gets it done. I'll reach out to him and make sure it's on his radar, but I'm sure it is.
Now, Commissioner Hall informed me last year with great degree of decorum, but intensity that there was none available for ADA standards and that she was the recipient of several communiques that requested that for this year.
Well, there's one
there is
currently.
there, that's.
I'll just, let me respond as I did to Commissioner Hall. There was at least 1 and maybe 2 porta potties that were ADA compliant, as well as the restrooms in the main hall and the restrooms adjacent to the floral building that are all ADA compliant.
Those are all closed.
Yeah, this year, all the indoor plumbing bathrooms are closed.
Okay, that we can work on a couple more ADA bathrooms from Rick, but we did have at least two portable outhouses that were ADA restrooms last year.
Anything else? Tim?
Well, I'm gonna have to cross-check with some folks on a couple items. Because the money issue is still a concern for me. I'm not sure where Jane is gonna be this year. I need to make sure that we pull that money and get it here into the county safe. We're not gonna do what Wayne and Jane have done in years gone by. I don't operate that way.
Their own armories.
Yeah, I'm, you know,
Has been with her.
yeah, oh, yeah. It's great, just lovely. Sorry, folks, been down that path before. So we need to do one of two things. We do have a courier service, and I'll check to see if we can get that contract amended for the purposes of 3 days. And if that happens, I'll feel very comfortable about that, because they do a very good job. Either that, or I will ask Sheriff Landers if we can have a unit where we can move the money from point A to point B and take care of that.
I did, speaking of Sheriff Landers, I did talk to all three law enforcement agencies. They will be rotating through as time permits. So I did get that from all three of them, that they'll have it on the radar to, as officers, you know, have the ability to bounce in and walk through the fairgrounds and walk right back out. That'll give us that armed,
Sure.
random anti.
Just visibility sometimes helps.
Because we'll have the posse there, but
Yeah.
it seems like the last 2 years they've
It's a
pulled
long-
out on like
It's a holiday
Saturday.
weekend, so they had a search and rescue last year they had to go to, and things happen, so.
Yeah, you can never just tell, can
No. Heather, you got anything?
You know, everything.
Is Colleen still on the phone?
She said she's going in between service, so.
Okay.
Heather, you're coming to see us at Board of Commissioners, I think.
I'm zooming in, yes,
Oh,
I'll be in
21st.
Albany at state contest, but I have it on my calendar.
That is that Wednesday, isn't it?
So Daniel will be with me at state contest. We'll
Yes.
Okay.
We will be there.
Todd, do you have anything, Todd Williver?
Sorry, Heather, was that for me?
Yeah, do you
Yeah.
have anything else to
Yeah,
add?
I've got nothing else. I did just send Rick a note asking for more restrooms as well as ADA. Probably important to just to note that when things like that happen, those impact the budget significantly. My guess would be the number of people that use the indoor plumbing is roughly equivalent to the number that use the outdoor plumbing. So not having the availability of indoor plumbing this year probably means we need to double the total number of porta potties, including ADA stuff for this coming year. So just be aware of what impact that's likely going to have on the budget. I was unaware that the plumbing was down in the main hall completely. So just keep that on your radar. That's going to be an additional expense.
But those are bad. Those are,
Okay.
But
But the inside days of those.
Yeah.
no, they're really not. I'm expecting to spend $10,000 on repair work after the fair on this.
Those can be used.
We heard you,
Good point.
Todd.
They back up.
Yeah.
No.
I forgot.
Yeah, but you didn't have the kind of people that you're gonna have for most of the days.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
The problem we had before with those, fill so slow,
Oh.
and somebody has already used it.
You know, like-
Now there's not enough water to flush.
Yeah, that's it. That's the reason I try to
You
get
could put little
people out.
signs on them. We used to do that.
Kind of hard to run.
We have a little,
If
like,
you're full of fiber, do not use.
little like, clock thing, and you just like turn it over. And so once the sand goes down, then you can use that, so you don't.
I see that going wrong so many. So many
So.
People dancing, I got my own.
Or like Heather just said, that would end up in the toilet, down the drain. And then Tim is spending thousands of dollars to
No, the county is.
fish that out.
It will be so much better. We were literally working with Daphne LaGarza, who is the city manager of Lincoln City, if you know, and Daphne's previous position was with Travel Oregon, and she said one of her job descriptions was to ensure the building and maintenance of state of Oregon restrooms. And I said, so tell me, how do we build standalone restrooms on the fairgrounds? So that's a serious undertaking. It's a serious undertaking.
Well, we've been around the room.
Okay,
So-
best of luck to all of you. Keep our
Make a
fingers
motion, we
crossed.
adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn the Lincoln County Fair meeting.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Next meeting is July 20th, and then we will have a 1 month break
Yeah.
July 20th at 3:30.
at 3:30.